This is VOA News. I'm Diane Roberts. Sudan's army and a paramilitary force battled on the outskirts of the capital Wednesday, eroding a truce in an 11-day conflict that civilian groups fear could revive the influence of those loyal to ousted autocrat Omar al Bashir. Fueling those concerns, the army confirmed the transfer of Bashir from Khartoum's Cobra prison to a military hospital, along with at least 5 of his former officials, before hostilities started on April 15th. French nationals and European citizens evacuated from Sudan arrived at Paris's Charles de Gaulle airport on Wednesday morning. The evacuees first were taken to Djibouti before traveling to France. The White House said on Wednesday that a second American had died in Sudan on Tuesday amid violence between warring parties. Chinese President Xi Jinping spoke by telephone on Wednesday to Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky. It was the first known conversation between the two leaders. Here's VOA's Steve Miller.
The call came after months of pressure from Kyiv for such talks, with Chinese state media stating Xi told Zelensky that China would send special representatives to Ukraine to hold talks with all parties seeking peace. Xi Jinping has thus far refrained from denouncing Russia's invasion of Ukraine and made a state visit to Russia last month. Since February, China has promoted a 12-point peace plan for Ukraine, greeted with skepticism from the West, but cautiously welcomed by Kyiv. The White House on Wednesday welcomed the phone call, with White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby calling the conversation a good thing, but unsure if it would lead to a meaningful move toward peace. Steve Miller, VOA News.
For more on these and all the stories we're following, visit us at voanews.com. This is VOA News. China is opposing Taiwan-U.S. defense and military exchanges. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
The spokeswoman for China's Taiwan Affairs Office has told reporters Beijing resolutely opposes any form of official or military contact between the U.S. and what it considers its territory. Taiwanese media reported this month that the U.S. had sent 200 military personnel, mostly Marines, to help train Taiwan troops. About 25 defense contractors also are visiting the island next month, hosted by the U.S.-Taiwan Business Council. Also recently, China has flown fighter jets and bombers near Taiwan in an attempt to intimidate it. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
American and Filipino forces have fired a barrage of high-precision rockets, airstrikes, and artillery in their largest war drills in Philippine waters, facing the disputed South China Sea that would likely antagonize China. More from VOA's Tommy McNeil.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Wednesday watched the Americans show firepower from a tower in a northwestern province. It is the latest indication of his strong backing of his country's treaty alliance with the U.S. His order for the Philippine military to shift its focus to external defense amid China's aggressive actions in the South China Sea falls in sync with the Biden administration's aim of reinforcing an arc of Indo-Pacific alliances to better counter China. Tommy McNeil, VOA News, Washington.
Tonight's White House State Dinner for South Korea's president will showcase an intersection of food and culture. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Magani has more.
The guest chef is Edward Lee.
I wanted to showcase the best of American cuisine merged with a touch of Korean flavors.
Like tonight's first appetizer, a Maryland crab cake with Lee's version of coleslaw.
Kohlrabi cabbage cucumber with a gochujang vinaigrette.
First Lady Jill Biden says that's her favorite dish on tonight's menu.
Joe's favorite will be the last.
Chef Lee had his orders.
That was the first thing I was told, ice cream.
Part of a deconstructed banana split that'll have a fermented soybean paste. Lee says there's a lot of pressure, partly because he's the son of Korean immigrants.
The first person I called was my mother,
who gave some simple advice.
She just said, don't mess it up.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders says he's foregoing another presidential bid of his own and endorsing U.S. President Joe Biden's re-election. The leading progressive was Biden's chief rival in the 2020 Democratic presidential primary. Shortly after Biden's re-election announcement, Sanders said that he would do everything he could to see that Biden is re-elected. From Washington, I'm Diane Roberts, VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.